First of all, I would like to congratulate Satish and the entire Niracharthu team for taking initiatives. And thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I have divided the entire presentation into two parts. And in one part, actually, I have included the work from 2000 to 2007 on 2007. Then in the second part, I have included 2008 to present. Actually, I have started my career in 1996, but I couldn't include any of those old works because I'm really bad in documenting the work, so I don't have any images of those old work. And I've done, Satish have mentioned, I have done my BFA in 1996. Then I moved to Ahmedabad. I stayed there for another 6 years. And during that time, actually, I was very much attracted to the rich textile tradition of the city. And slowly, I started incorporating the stitches very minimally into my acrylic painting. Those days I was very much into acrylic painting. That too very small works I used to do. Gradually I started incorporating. Also, I got a chance to work with some craft people. I was working as a designer in one home furnishing studio. So I happened to work with this craft people. Then I learned a lot of things from them, different stitches and all. Then I started, incorporating these stitches in my work, but I was not very sure. I was a little hesitant to show the work to the public. I didn't have the courage to show the work to the public. But later, when I moved to Hyderabad for my master's, from there I got very positive responses from my teachers and my batchmate, which helped me to gain a kind of confidence. Then I started showing this work to the people. Those time, simultaneously, I was doing both the practice, the painting and the embroidery work. And I continued the practice for a while, for a couple of years. Then I'm completely into this. I started working only with fabric and thread. So I'll show some of my early works. So this is how I started. This is a kind of, I was just trying out the various possibilities of this medium. Very early work. I started bringing different kind of stitches, such as the kanda stitch, the running stitch, and the chain stitch, along with tie and dye. So I was doing some experiments with the stitches and paint and trying to find out the possibility of the medium. At the same time, I was doing the painting also in a very smaller size. And yeah, so what I was trying to convey is like there were a lot of shifting happened to my life, movements. Like I moved to different cities. Till the age of 19, I was in Kerala. Then I went for my bachelor degree. After that, I went to Ahmedabad. Then from there to different cities. Then again to some other cities. So each time, when I move to different cities, what actually I face is a kind of struggle, or my struggle. Yeah, in fact, my struggle to adapt myself to the new environments. So that actually reflects in my work. And also, these works, actually, the prominent thing is myself, my own self, trying to understand my own self. That is still there. It is in present work also, that is there, that element of self, that is still I'm continuing. Yeah. And here, actually, image of this house is, you can see in my early works as well as in the new works, that image of the hut, or that simple house, the typical Kerala house. It's actually how it's coming, because my strong feeling of belongingness, to my own village, even though I have spent very few years over there, but the memory and the experience I always carry along with me wherever I go. That is there with me. So it comes quite often. The image of this, the typical Kerala house comes quite often in my work. And here I'm trying to, connect with my inner soul, and the image of the house is myself only, and trying to bring the two space, the outside space and the inner space. And here I have given this pattern. You can see this my interest towards the textile patterns. Okay, that is there since then. My what to say, yeah, interest towards different textile and different textile patterns. I was very much keen to observe these, even my childhood. Since my childhood, I was very much passionate towards this embroidery. As a child, I used to watch my sister's embroidery work, and years later that resurfaced in my work. These are the acrylic, small acrylic works. And the cityscape also, you can see over here. This is like, when I move to a different place, that presence of that places also often comes in my work.
Yes, you did it in Hyderabad or earlier?
I did it in Hyderabad only. So that landscape is a kind of, the landscape of my village often comes in my work. Here, I was trying to create such kind of landscape, but the technique, which I used over here is bringing a kind of abstraction. Here I used different layers of fabric, and I took out certain portion of the fabric. Altogether, it's giving a kind of abstraction. But actually, I was trying to depict a particular landscape from my memory. Yeah, these are the works which I've done during my MFA. And this is a self-portrait. Here also, I used multiple layers of fabric, and I stuffed that wool thread inside. Then I put another layer towards it. Then I took off some thread, because it will give a kind of translucent effect. And in the background, I used random stitches, random running stitches. At the same time, I mentioned earlier, I do small painting also. So the both practice continued simultaneously. And this is one of that work. And later, after a few years, I have enlarged this work in stitch. I enlarged it. It was quite bigger work, but I don't have the image of it. This is I, and I represent both the figure represent myself only, and that small I have used the small I and the capital I to represent that here. What I am trying to say is like, you know, I am leading by my own self, or on my big self is leading me. As yeah, that was the idea behind this work. Again, it's a representation of my own self. This is a simple study which I've done during my MFA.
Question for you from Sabita: why is the name Sacred Rain?
Okay, the sacred rain, that I'll go back to the slide. Yeah, see, as I told you, it's representing my own self, and the pot is also representing my inner self. I'm connecting my own inner self to this, you know, that empty pot, and it's like, you know, receiving something sacred, something. The rain, I'm connecting with the spiritual, my spiritual fulfillment or something. Yeah. So this person is receiving that with, you know, and the self is related to that empty pot. Basement dweller is like, you know, contemplating my, it's like, you know, how can I put it? Thinking deep about myself, or trying to understand my inner soul. Yeah, this is from 2005 onwards. I'm completely into this, that, you know, the presence of paint slowly started vanishing from my work, and I'm completely into the stitch. Again, that's image of the house is there. That is the main thing, and inside that house, the man is trying to cleaning the space, and I'm connecting with my own self, where my self is there, and I'm trying to cleanse myself, you know, in that inner space. And the image of this image, it came in many of my works later. And slowly, you know, that abstraction, in fact, that it happens, simultaneously. Some of my works is like very abstract, and some of my work are figurative. That happens. This is also I was trying to depict a particular landscape from my, you know, from my memory, the landscape which I've seen during my childhood, or experienced during my childhood. I was trying to depict that through these patches. I've used a lot of patchwork and blanket stitch and running stitch for this. Also, you can see the presence of paint, very, very minimal. These are basically Hyderabad landscape. Our campus was so beautiful with these kind of rocks and also I was trying to depict one of the space.
Mushroom rock.
Mushroom rock, yeah, there are a lot of rocks. This is again a study which I have done during my MFA. This on canvas, I have used charcoal and dry pastel and acrylic. Reminiscence of a celestial affair. This belongs to 2007. So I have created the surface with that back stitch. That's the main stitch which I use for my work. The back stitch is which has two different character. That back side has a different character and the front side has a different character. So I use both the sides sometimes. And for this floral motifs, I have used buttonhole stitch. I don't have the detail of this.
So how do you display this thing on canvas, or how do you stitch?
This is cotton cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, for displaying, I prefer I stretch this cloth on hardboard, and most of the time I prefer glass frame just for a protection.
So there are two questions for you, Ranjith.
Yes.
One, Sabita was asking about the title of the previous work, and Shanti is asking, do you do your own embroidery or do you have some help in executing the embroidery as per your vision?
What was the first question?
First one, I think, was on the title. This celestial one, I think, yeah, this one. Maybe,
yeah.
I think she's asking what is the clue, maybe.
Reminiscence of a celestial affair. I was trying to portray my own affair which I had in my, yeah. It's like, trying to, how can I put it? Yeah, that's personal thing. I was trying to portray that thing. And I'm connecting that act of life making is a very divine thing, Yeah. And the second question, actually, I prefer to do myself all the stitching, everything I prefer to do myself. But sometimes, in some cases, I do take help from others. For example, I took help from other people during my first solo show because I was doing very large work. For that, I've taken help from others. Otherwise, I do each and everything I do myself. Even if I take help from others, they cannot do everything. They create a surface for me. Then on the top of it, I do. Yeah, this is work from 2007, led towards an unknown destiny. As I mentioned, when I move to different places, this kind of anxiety and the struggle to adapt to the new situations is there. That is there, and it reflects in my work. And these kind of, engaging in this kind of work, and it helped me to overcome that thing. And these two works I have done simultaneously. It belongs to the same year, and I almost have done together. And here the flower, I'm connecting with Mother Nature, and this self is, I mean, this figure is actually is myself, and he's, you know, is like, you know, is sleeping inside there. It's like a going back to mother's womb, and he's actually very much safe over there. You know, he's very much safe, and he's not bothered about anything. He's very, you know, secure over there. That is the thing which I wanted to convey through this work. And again, no, that title speaks what I am actually trying to speak through this work. Yeah, here I'm talking. I want to talk about the belongingness. You know, that strong belongingness to my village, or to the place from where I'm coming from. I've used that applique. The face is actually applique work. Then on the top of it, I have used this backstitch. Yeah. Here, 2007, actually, I moved to Delhi. From Hyderabad, I moved to Delhi, and the sudden shift actually, you know, made little changes also in my work. And these are the cityscape. And I used to travel in metro, you know, from my place to Delhi, and I see the landscape. Okay, the cluster of buildings. Okay, that is reflecting over here. And what is interesting, what was exotic for me in Delhi, in residential area, each buildings are connected with each other. That was a kind of, that was something which I saw for the first time. They share walls with each other, like, you know, it's connected like this. Okay, so yeah, I was trying to depict that what I saw. This is, I have used different fabric on paper along with the paint. Very similar kind of work. The previous work, actually, this is exactly what I was trying to show, that the particular space that Barakamba Road. Okay, I used to take a evening walk in that area. So I was trying to bring that space in this particular work. Again, this is that same space only, and in some that I think that this year I think I'd given wrong. It's belonged to 2008. Yeah. So again, I'm connecting myself into that empty pot. And I have used, I have treated this work very, differently, you know, very fine stitch and very fine, subtle colors and all. Yeah, from here onwards, this works which I'm going to show belongs to my first solo show which I had in Gallery Mirchandani and Steenroke, Mumbai. Okay, this is again, it's a landscape. Actually, this is the other side of the work. Actually, the actual side is the other side. I have started this work with multiple layers of fabric, different fabric, and somehow I like the back side of it. Okay, the backside, actually, what I was looking for, the result, I couldn't see the other side. I saw it in the backside. The everything is overlapped and translucent, like, each and everything connected, and it is coexisting. Okay, that was something which I wanted to bring it over here, but I couldn't see it on the other side, so I have used the back side of the work. And here I started using machine stitch also. This area is completely done by machine stitch. Since then, I started incorporating machine stitch along with hand stitch. So all these works are from that solo show. And this is my mother's portrait. Connecting my image of my mother to the mother nature, and I have used the mirror. Lots of mirrors are there, but it will be visible in the detail. I don't have the detail of it. It's I took a lot of time for completing this work. There are mirrors and there are different beads and sequins. A lot of things are there, but it's not visible in this image. This also is a very quite bigger work, and here the surface I have used the Ari embroidery. This I got it done from outside. There were few people they were there to help me, so they created the surface with Ari embroidery. Then on the top of it, I have used this patches, different fabric patches. And the fabric I collect from, second-hand market. I go to this different market in Delhi, and I collect the used fabric, old saris and old kurtis and a lot of things. And I use those fabric, in fact, for my work. So it's like, bringing a lot of people, different people to my work. The used fabric. Yeah, you can see the same image over here also. And the typical Kerala house, you can see I'm connecting with my own self in one frame, and one frame the person is cleaning the house, and the next frame you can see the person is, dancing with overjoy or something. And here I have used a lot of patchwork, and this blue line which you can see is the Ari embroidery which I got done from outside.
Ranjith, there is a question on why are you using used cotton?
Why I am used?
You are using the used fabric you mentioned, right? Why are you using it? Sabita was asking.
Why I am using fabric? Used
one. You mentioned in the last slide that.
Yeah, used one. Yeah, I also spoken like, why I'm interested in the using used fabric is like, I'm bringing the presence of other people, other people whom I don't know even. I think I answered the question.
Yes.
That's still there. I'm very much interested. Still, my work start from there itself, going or hunting for clothes, and that's very beautiful experience. Spending time in market and finding out different clothes and all. I really like that. So this is complete stitch. I have used that back stitch. I mean, the back stitch has two different. We can do that same stitch in two different ways. If you start from here, you will get like this. If you start from here down, you will get a different stitch. And if you start from the top, the character of stitch will change. Okay, so this is back stitch, and I have used a lot of mirror over here. So why I'm interested in bringing the presence of mirror is like, you know, when so when somebody view this work, so it's like, you know, their own reflection, you know, they can see their own reflection in the mirror, and they are also becoming a small part of the work. Like, so I'm interested in that. So the same thing is coming in again and again. My you know, my strong feeling of belongingness to that, you know, my own space where I'm staying in a different landscape, and my strong maybe we can call nostalgia or something. Yeah. It's also trying to, you know, bring a particular space which I had experienced in my childhood. This resemblance to the temple space, you know, where we take that, you know, well, pradikshana. We call pradikshana. I don't know what we can call it in, you know, English. As I mentioned earlier, this, you know, this landscape is a kind of, I'm very much fascinated to the landscape. And sometimes the landscape, I take from certain movies, some old Malayalam movies. I take certain landscape because that kind of landscape in present time we cannot see anywhere because everything has got changed. And so I watch old Malayalam movies, and I take the, you know, image directly from that movie. And this is such kind of image which I took from one old Malayalam movie. Similar thing.
What is a tissue means? Like you use tissue paper, or what is that?
Tissue is a kind of fabric, very translucent fabric.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use tissue for creating layers, you know. Well, why I'm using, when I keep the tissue on the top of other fabric, it shows, you know, but there beneath.
Oh.
Yeah.
Transparent. Okay.
Yeah, translucent.
Translucent. Okay.
Yes. So I was trying to bring the particular land cityscape in this work. Again, here I'm connecting the house with myself, and the, you know, that I'm surrounded with a lot of chaos, and that is what I'm trying to create in the background with a lot of patchwork and a lot of, you know, random stitches. So I was trying to create that kind of chaos, that contrast where that contrast where I am there, you know, in the middle, my own self. So these lines, I quite often in my work, it's a kind of, you know, connecting myself with, you know, that spiritual connection. That is what I meant over here, the vertical lines. Connecting myself with something above me, or I don't know. Yeah, here this is self-portrait, and what I'm trying to say is my what to say, my shifting or my movements to one place to another. And as I mentioned earlier, while I move to a different space, I carry the memories along with me. Okay, so here I have used the stain, rust stain over here, and a lot of patchworks in the background. Also, I covered the entire surface with that RE embroidery. RE embroidery is a kind of that chain stitch.
Question from Mithu is that man in the center, is it embroidered?
Man in the center.
Is it embroidered?
Everything is embroidered. Everything is embroidered. All the patches, all the different colors you can see is in fact, I mean, different fabric, patchwork of different fabrics. Only, I have used this, the brown color which you can see over here is actually the rust stain. Yeah, the same image which you have seen in one of my previous work, it came again over here, and I'm connecting this hand to the force which lead us, the unknown force. Okay, so that is what maybe we can call. I had named the word God's hand. What I meant over here, that force which lead us. Maybe. I don't know how can I put it. Yeah, from here, from 2015 onwards, I started using text. I started bringing text into my work. This is the first work I've started with text and hidden. That is what I've written over there. And what I'm trying to say is whatever we see, whatever we are exposed to, that actually something is hidden. What we are seeing is actually not. What actually is hidden behind. Okay, that is the idea of this work. Also, I have done this work for one particular exhibition in Gallery Beyond, and that exhibition was dedicated to this LGBT community. And so, yeah, so when the galleries asked me for one work, suddenly this word came into my mind. And this LGBT people, I'm talking about years back, they are also like, they were hiding their truest self to the public. They were like, little hesitant to come out with their own self. So that was the idea behind this work.
There's a question like how much time an average work takes, like the previous one.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Actually, if I sit in one single work, it take months. So what I do, I simultaneously start multiple work. For example, if I am doing one work, if I started in the middle, I may get another idea for another work. Then I move to next work. So like that, I simultaneously I start number of works together. I work together, in fact. Otherwise, if I sit in one work, it's actually the process is very time taking, and nobody can sit, like that for many days. Okay, so certain areas, like very mechanical, like stitching, for example, this whole area. If I want to cover, it's nothing. It's simple stitches I have to do like this. So for me, that's a kind of that's little difficult. So what I do, I move to other work. Yeah, that is the process. This is misfit. Yeah, I'm connecting with myself, and this is a kind actually the structure, architectural structure, maybe that's how I connecting. And again, I'm speaking about my struggle and my the struggle to adapt myself to the new environment or new situations. And I always have this feeling of misfitness. I'm not good for this particular space. So that is there. Okay. So I was trying to speak about that through this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, here again, that sleeping figure, he's sleeping in one space and is connected to some other space. In fact, other space which is still unknown to him, but that is there. That feeling is there. That belongingness is there. I belong to some other space. In fact, not here. So here you can see the, that cityscape, you can see the structure, architectural structure, and you can also see something is written over there. That is feel, that is a word. Deliberately, I have used similar color in the background and in the text, actually. The feel, it's very difficult to figure out what's written over there. That is, I deliberately done that. So feel is a basic human feeling, and when I come to this new space, for me it was very difficult to connect with the new environment, and it's like, most of the people are in a different outfit, and where I am in a different outfit. So what I was expecting, it is there, but it's very difficult to find out. I have to look differently, then only I can see what actually I'm looking for. So that was the idea behind this work. It's another work, Beautified Mistakes. That is the title which I had given. And mistakes, it's like we all do mistakes, and it's good for accepting the mistake. Okay, we have to accept the mistake wholeheartedly. And that is the one thing which I want to convey. And other thing is like there are people who do mistakes, but they never accept it. They try to articulate the mistake, or they try to that is what they try to articulate the mistakes. They try to beautify their own mistakes. From here onwards, this box belongs to another show which I had in Kerala. In 2019, I had a show in Kerala. So these works are from that show.
This question from Savita, like, do you remove some stitches after doing?
Yes, of course, I do that. Yeah. I unstitch certain area, then again I stitch. That happens many times. Yeah, again here I'm talking about my quest for the connecting myself to the supreme self or supreme space through these vertical lines. It is connecting to the other space, this space which suggests that only. I have used backstitch for creating this line. Everything is stitched, nothing, the presence of color is not there. Everything, that line, each and every line I created with a backstitch. And I have used sequins here. So it's like, my, what to say, my longingness, or to reach out to that space. That's why I am using these vertical lines. to connect myself with something above. This is a landscape. During this time, I shifted to Greater Noida. I was staying in Delhi and I shifted to Greater Noida during 2016. And I used to take bus from Greater Noida. If I want to travel to Delhi, I used to take a bus from Greater Noida, which the journey is quite long. And I observe the landscape over there, and it's like, you can see a kind of rapid changes, like within a week or something, within a month, you will see the changes. Okay, so I was trying to bring that changes. A lot of construction is happening every time, and a lot of things. So I was creating that. I was trying to create that thing through different various layers. So here also I have used multiple fabric. So usually I start with a basic idea, then that work leads me. A lot of changes happens in the middle. As Sabida asked, do I unstitch? And of course I do. Here in this particular work, I've done that. I've taken off certain area, then I restitched. All those things happens during the process.
Ranjith, I am sorry, that question was from Sneh Mehra, so I mistook it as Sabida.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
no, it is my error.
yeah. So these are the details. You can see the different layers of fabric, and also you can see the printed fabric. Also, I use different printed fabric. Also, I use different cotton fabric, cotton printed fabric. It falls from the past. There is a figure. That figure is not visible over here. One figure is falling down from the shirt. The small figure is not visible, but it is visible in the detail. I don't know whether you will be able to figure out. There is a figure falling down. Here I used paint. Yeah, again, that presence of paint started coming into my work. So these dots which you can see over here is actually acrylic paint. And a lot of machine stitch also there. These horizontal lines I brought through machine stitch. This is another landscape, very much similar to the previous work. Amidst all constraint, the tree represents my own self. Anticipating the good. Though there are, I think, there are 6 or 8 similar kind of works are there, but with different gestures of hand. It's like trying to hold something but unable to hold that. That is the gesture which I wanted to bring over here. Holding something but unable to hold it tightly. We are forced to leave that or drop that. These are the detail of this work. Allowed to leave this, the thread, loosened thread. So usually people take the needle from down. So in this case, I take it from the top. So, you know, whatever notes are creates over there, I don't bother about it. A lot of in the process, a lot of notes can happen. So I don't bother about the fineness. So I leave the notes and I leave everything that, you know, that messiness like that only. So I really like that. It creates a kind of, you know, texture, and it can bring a kind of depth to the work. Detail of same work. There's another work. Here also I have used, you know, the paint. Dust even in the city. That title speaks about what I am trying to speak. Very much connected to the previous work which I showed you. The title is also same, heading towards the unknown destiny. We are moving, and we are moving, you know, led by a kind of unknown force. This is something which I see daily through my kitchen window. You know, so that I was trying to depict that through the patchwork. Interrupted sleep. Bird. Too tall from everything is this is the kind. I mean, the space where I am working. I'm surrounded by this high-rise building. All are IT companies, and all. I was, you know, I was trying to depict that particular building. It's too high, and yeah, too tall from everything. So I'm going a little faster. This is, you know, again, this is a landscape only, and it's like, you know, I was. This is actually, it's a whole work, a big work which consists 12 small works. So I was trying to bring that contrast of the one cityscape and the you know, that space where I belongs actually. That nature. So here I was trying to bring different layers. I was overlapping different fabric and color together, and you know, it's a kind of trying to bring a kind of translucent effect where you can see what is underneath, and you know. And finally, I'm to connect everything together. I have used this, you know, that running stitch, which talk about the same thing I mentioned in one of my earlier work. Everything coexists each other. Everything is connected with each other. That's the idea. So here you can see the presence of color, acrylic color. I think the images are repeating. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is very recent work. This is a book, in fact. I have this habit of doing stitch drawing on small pieces of fabric. Okay, then what I did, I created a book out of those small stitch drawing, in fact. And I had given the title is My Masculine and Georgette. I'm connecting, you know, I'm dealing with this material, and I'm connecting myself with the material, and masculine and Georgette. That's the title which I've given, Georgette. So the Georgette fabric is the prominent fabric which I've used for this work. So there are masculine figures are there, and also in the background that you can see that Georgette fabric with a heavily embroidered. I've written stitched kisses and mysterious force. Again, I'm talking about that, that inner force which leads us. That's it from my side. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So happy. Yep.
So we had parked few questions. I think we will ask them one by one. So I think Shanti, you wanted to ask that religious connection to Ranjith directly.
Hi, Ranjith.
Hi.
I have to switch on the light still. Okay, I'll come in. So many times, you talked about the hand, that hand that is leading.
Yeah.
Connecting to the supreme and so on.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm wondering,
Yeah.
like, are you
Yeah.
very, religious or something? Like, you feel that you are being guided by something, some force in making all this, or like I was just curious about.
Yeah, it is not religious in that sense, but each of us keep this kind of beliefs or trust kind of thing, no? Yeah, that is something leading. It's a kind of it gives a kind of energy to move on. Yeah.
Okay.
Not in that religious sense. Not in that. Not at all in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, just curious because many times it came up during the talk. And
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yeah.
your little eye and big eye.
Big guy. Yeah.
Lovely works. I'm sure you've been told by everyone this, but
Thank you.
really, really inspiring works. Now I feel like using textile too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you, Ranjith Tatran, for showing.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Satish and Sujit.
Yeah, because it's
It's a lovely experience, and in fact, this is the first time for me to, presenting my work.
yeah. No, I know we actually, you're my senior, and we shared a year in a same space, very small space in the as a studio.
Yeah.
So I know you. I know you, how you work, and all.
Sujit
Yeah.
is my junior. In fact, we were there in Hyderabad Central University for a year.
Yeah.
We were together.
Yes. So I know the way you do, because when as a painter, if you want to make a stroke in a paper, it's a little more easy to do, for compared to you.
Yes.
When I compare with you, because
Yes,
for you it takes at least 1,000 times to make a small, this thing.
Yeah.
But I know that in early days you make a lot of small drawings and paintings, acrylic paintings, before you go to the larger, mostly the embroidered work and all. But are you doing that same now? Like you do more sketches and?
Yeah, now I've started again. Actually, I had lost that habit of doing that, preliminary drawing and all. Straight away, I used to start in the fabric.
Okay.
So that was I've been doing, but now I have restarted that again. I do small, work before entering into that fabric and thread.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
you create
I
something.
started, very recently, only a year back, I started that habit again. Yeah.
So why you felt that like it's important?
Why I felt it's important, because, you know, I want to bring back the habit of drawing.
Okay,
Yeah, that was the main reason.
okay,
Because somewhere I lost the habit of, I was very much into this stitching and stitching and stitching, you know, so I lost the habit
Yeah.
of drawing. Of
Yeah.
course, I do the drawing before I start the, you know,
Yeah.
work on the fabric. I do the drawing,
Yeah.
but not separately. So now,
Yeah.
nowadays I started the habit. I do some separate drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also I started that, you know, small acrylic painting in small format. That also
Okay.
I started. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, great. Happy to know. I've seen many of
Yeah.
painting, especially like acrylic and
Yes, yes,
on
yes.
paper
Yeah.
and then then a lot of now in between there are text-based work like the mistakes sort of a thing. Then
Yeah. Yes, yes.
you know, something like so interesting to see.
Thank you.
So, Sabita, you were asking about the Harper Lee reference. Is that on titles? You want to ask that?
Yeah, I was referring to the two works where he titled it as to free that mockingbird, and then there was one more like that. So
Tall of something, no? It's I'm too tall or something, no?
so then why the reference to the mockingbird? Does he like Harper Lee's book so much? I just want to ask that.
Yeah, that I actually that mockingbird is like something, you know, something which troubles me to look back, or, you know, to look back my past, or, you know, I mentioned that I carry the memories and the experience along with me. So sometimes it troubles me, right? So that is what I wanted to bring through that title.
So does it have a reference to that famous?
No. I just borrowed this thing. That's it.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful book, so it's a
Yeah,
must.
I know. Yeah.
That is to kill a mockingbird, right?
Yeah, just to kill a mockingbird. Yeah. Somehow I like the title. I haven't read that book, but just, you know, borrow the title.
Stuart, do you want to ask that question yourself, or should I ask?
Either, I don't mind. I'll ask it. Thank you. Ranjith, that was wonderful talk. Thank you. It was lovely to see so many pieces of your work all together. But I was quite interested when I was listening to your talk. I was thinking that in all cultures, men who embroider are a minority.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, how do you feel that your practice contributes towards changing attitudes towards this specific artistic medium? And how do you feel stitch is an interesting form of expression for male identity?
Yeah. So that is a kind of association. Suddenly people associate with that. Okay, that was there in the beginning. I told you that was the reason for me to come up with this work during the initial, beginning stage. So, sir, if I was really hesitant to show, you know, the work to the public, I was hesitant whether people will label me, or they will put it in some other, you know, community or something. That kind of fear was there. But now the present, in present time, such kind of things are not there. Like you know. I realize I'm on a safe space. So that kind of thing I have, of course, I have received in the beginning of my career. People used to ask me why you are doing, why a male, you know, doing embroidery. Such kind of things I have faced. But if we look in industry, there are fashion industry, there are a lot of male people are doing this thing. So this is a kind of, you know, general idea or something. Suddenly it comes to the people mind. They always try to associate. That is what they want to do, you know. associate with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Stewart, I think I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. Yes. No, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you say that perhaps
Yeah.
what it represents now is perhaps
Mm.
changing identities.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Yes.
from
Yeah.
your earlier work and that time, things have changed a lot. So it's quite interesting that your work actually maps perhaps that time and that period of change of thought as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stewart.
And my question was this, that like you know, embroidery, especially, I mean, fabrics, of course, the tailors do it, and the tailoring boutique shops, embroidery happens by the males. But if you take actually hand embroidery as such, not machine embroidery, especially hand embroidery, over the ages, a lot of women have been doing it, and it's natural that we have seen our mothers, and I mean, a lot of women do embroidery in their own homes. So my question to you was, like, while you've been doing this work, which is something which requires patience and intricate detail, so while you're doing it, has it shaped your thoughts on gender? And especially, like, has it influenced any thoughts, any of your thoughts towards women? I mean, like, women's work, do you think that it's, you know, I'm asking you, like, what influence did that gender have on you, and how has it shaped your attitudes towards the feminine gender? Is it a difficult question?
It's not a difficult question. I know that it is a, you know, it was a domestic practice done by women since ages, but that it doesn't bother me. Like, I like this process of embroidering. It's a kind of meditative act for me. And one side it's very meditative, and other side it's too violent also. You know, you are piercing the needle into the fabric. You know, so I like both that opposite. You know, character of this practice. One side is totally meditative, and other side is very violent. So that
my question was, did it influence your outlook towards the feminine gender?
No, not at all, no. Yeah.
So it did not bring you any thoughts on women, their work. That's what I was saying. I mean,
So
like,
I told you, you know, that I was conscious. So this is considered as a
no, not that way.
but it didn't bother me. And
not what you were doing. Did it help you understand women better, or, you know, on those lines?
but I didn't actually. I didn't understand the.
Ranjith, what she's asking is, there are some traditional perceptions about women's work, right? So once you start doing some kind of a work which is traditionally accepted as women work, did it help you to understand women better and their struggles better?
Okay. Yes.
Exactly what Satish said. He made it simpler.
Yeah. So that is something which I have to think about it. I haven't thought about it. Yes.
It helps you relate better to the women in your life. You know?
Yeah.
Things like that.
So more than that, you know, it's a continuous process. No, it's a kind of a boring thing. You know, banal. You know, sometimes you have to do the same thing again and again and again. So what actually, you know, till one point in India, like women does, you know, so something like they have to do that boring thing every day. So something maybe in that way.
But in my case, it's entirely different. This is something which I want to do, and I really love the process. So so it is not at all boring for me. Sometimes, like, you know, the process is very repetitive, and sometimes even I can't stand the process. So how I balance myself, like I listen music a lot. I'm very much into rock music, and I'm a great fan of you know, that Led Zeppelin and all bands like that. So that helps me a lot, you know, to overcome this thing. I listen to the music while I'm doing this thing. So something fast is happening there, and
Also, you'd have 2-3 works at a time, 2 works at a time. No, sometimes like
yeah,
one
yeah,
or two.
yes.
Yeah, that also helps. Sometimes
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
to also, any works in the initial process, there are process. Now you have to put the paint on the canvas, or you have to do the primary thing. It is tough only. Like it is hell. Like sometimes like. It's boring only, like then you slowly you enjoy every bit. That takes maybe a little long time, but from the beginning to end, that's also need a continuous technique, what do you call, training.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to say that it is not necessarily that when you what is traditionally known as women's work, it's not boring actually. It's repetitive, yes, but it's not.
Yeah, repetitive. Yeah.
Repetitive.
Like most kinds of work, like when you really get
Yeah,
into
so-
work, it's going to be boring at sometimes. It's
Yeah.
creative also. It's
Yeah. It's repetitive, and it's kind of, it's like a prayer. It's like a chanting. Sometimes I feel that it's repetitive and it's like a meditative act.
Yeah. That's the right word, repetitive. Yeah.
Hey, can I ask something? Maybe I missed, it was right in the beginning. I was just wondering, because you started with painting, and so what drew you to textile or, embroidery and patchwork? How did you, move in that direction?
Yeah, that happened gradually. I told I started this kind of work somewhere around in the beginning of 2000, and that time I was handling both the things together.
What influenced you to take it up?
That was my childhood passion. I was very much in. I used to watch my sister embroidery. Okay, so that passion was there. Then suddenly that was there inside me. Then when I went to Ahmedabad, I I happened to see the rich textile tradition of that city, and I got influenced. I was yeah. That's the reason. That's how it happened, very gradually. And I was like, I was hiding all those works within myself. I never showed it to the people. I kept this practice under wraps for maybe for 3-4 years. I was doing this, but I never showed. What I showed, my painting only to the people, because I didn't have the courage, or I didn't have the confidence to show.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that when you're saying that you want to get back to your drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I used to do a lot of embroidery before. And for a past decade or so, I don't do much, because even drawing is like embroidery.
Sometimes. Yes.
Yeah. So looking forward to your drawings.
Yes. Thank you.
Even in this acrylic painting, look like patches, no? Like
yeah, that patches you can see there also. That patches, that's still that is there. Even if I now recently I started oil painting also.
Okay.
So that patches is there, and it's coming in there also. I'm dealing the oil paint differently, like I deal different layers of fabric. The same thing is happening over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ranjith. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was not expecting. I mean, I saw a lot of people, and thank you so much for joining.
Okay. So thank you.
I commented on what you said. I commented on what you typed. Is it really?
Yeah. No, I was just asking, like, when all of you are telling.
It's not really a woman's thing. There's so many karigars traditionally have been men.
It's just
societal. It's just a societal perception, maybe.
That it's a woman.
Quote unquote normal society, but generally, like chefs are men. Chefs, big chefs have been men. Karigars, most of the karigars are men. So probably the image of somebody who sits at home and doing embroidery
is that of a woman. That is the only thing of a woman, I think. Otherwise, industrially, handicrafts filled with men.
Industrially, yes, you're right.
Yeah. Great. Okay, super, Ranjith, and very interactive, all of you. Thank you very much.